Hi guys, I'm Daisy Maldonado with the Nocturnal. So nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi.
I absolutely loved this show. I thought it was fantastic from the beginning to end. So you guys did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When it comes to the final season, what were you most excited about getting to explore and dig into with Emily Dickinson?
Well, I think I was mainly excited to just sort of bring everything full circle in a sense. Knowing that Elena Smith, our writer and creator, had always envisioned this as a 3-season journey. Coming back for the third season and knowing that this was, this was it, and having this be our most mature season, our most emotional season, and heavy, maybe dark, if you will. It all felt very real, and for more reasons than one. But with this, walking into it knowing that this was our final season, I think everybody was just more than ever ready to give it their all and make this the best possible season of our show. And I think we did that, and I'm very excited for people to see it.
Definitely. And Haley, I am such a big fan of you and your music. I was really hoping that more of your music would actually make it to the show. Personally, I thought that Starving was just the perfect backdrop to Emmy Sue's relationship.
Thank you. You know what's so funny? Elena actually scripted that in one time. I think it was as a joke. But that's so funny you say that. Thank you.
Of course, if you could pick a song to narrate Emmy Sue's relationship, what would it be?
Ooh.
Oh. Oh my God, probably. I feel like it's something on Adele's album that hasn't come out yet.
And there's also a scene that refers to Emily as the original sad girl, which I thought was just absolutely perfect.
Mm.
Do you guys have any of your favorite contemporary sad girls that you want to give a quick shout out to?
I'm a huge Lana Del Rey girl. And also Phoebe Bridgers. I feel like both are iconic sad girls.
I would agree.
And last question in 3 words, can you sum up why people should watch the show?
In 3 words?
Yes.
Impossible.
Possible. Ah, it's
Poetic. Are we
it's poetic.
describing the show?
Yes, like a little quick little advertisement, if you will.
For show. Okay. Poetic.
It's sexy.
Ooh, I'll take it. And forward thinking.
Yes.
Okay. I love that you guys did it together. Well,
Collab.
of course. So I'm curious, going into this project, how much did you guys know about Emily Dickinson before you started?
To be honest, just the basic stuff that I had learned way back in grade school, like way back. Took poetry classes in college, but it wasn't anything that she was a part of. So yeah, so to come back to it and to have that kind of respect for her, like I didn't know that she didn't publish her own stuff. Like that was a big thing for me. So yeah, just learning about her in detail, especially the coming of age of Emily was really insightful.
Yeah, I feel like I was the same way. She was a name I knew. Maybe I read a couple of the poems, but it was even in a small way to be like there were things that she was doing in her poetry that no one had done before. I don't think I really understood that. I don't really ever think I thought about her leaving her house ever because I was always told she sat in a corner and was probably sad about life. So it was nice to re-meet. It was nice to re-meet her as the three-dimensional person that she obviously was.
Definitely.
I had the cursory high school education of like Emily Dickinson was a poem, but definitely with the tone of like, and how sad that she
Mhm.
was a spinster that got old and stayed in one place her whole life and dedicated herself to her art. I mean, that the view of like kind of decolonizing Emily's story and seeing her in a view that was full of admiration and respect and compassion, especially with her relationship with Sue. I mean, that was kind of new for me and just like jaw dropping.
Yeah, like it's so awesome to be a part of a piece that destigmatizes and relooks at her without shame or judgment. I think there was so much judgment put onto her as a woman and as a creative, that it was really groundbreaking for a lot of people to see her in this way. I didn't know anything about Dickinson at the beginning of the project, because I hadn't studied her in school. She wasn't on my school syllabus. And so I really was coming to her afresh, and I am grateful that I came to her afresh because I was able to see her through Elena's eyes and to make my own assumptions about her and her life without the lens of like patriarchal judgment that has been like cloaked over her for the last 100 years and is really changing now, not just in our show, but in like the writing about her. And it's a cool time to be an Emily Dickinson fangirl.
I mean, because now if you looked at an artist who gave their life to their work, I mean, you that would be a story of admiration, and that should be the story that we're telling about Emily Dickinson, or that we have told from day one. But I'm glad that we're adopting that mantle in this show.
And you mentioned things that I thought was hilarious. One scene refers to her as the original sad girl, which is just so perfect. I'm curious, what are some of your favorite contemporary sad girls in culture right now?
Oh my God. I don't know if I don't think she's so much a sad. I mean, I don't know her body of work very well, but I just like her whole vibe. Like Billie Eilish, I just think is like I don't think of them as sad girls. I think of them as rebels and pushing through to create their own future. You know, like in that Apple documentary, you know, she says like, you know, Billy, I don't know which fucking Billy to like respond to. And it's just like, you're so badass. Like you're amazing. And people who really blaze their own trail, I always find to be not the sad girls, but the lit girls, lit fire girls.
That's a really
Definitely.
good one. I thought of Britney Spears, which might be a weird way, but like I think
Yeah.
she has become the same way that you watched Emily Dickinson's story change. Like the story around Britney Spears has changed so much, and I think she was painted as a sad girl for a very long time, a broken person, and that was the first. Because I'm like, she's obviously. I watched the Britney documentary, and like like there's dimension in how we wield these stories, how we define people. And it's weird to watch someone be defined as they live. You know what I mean?
There's a scene that refers to her as the original sad girl. I'm curious, contemporary wise, who are your favorite sad girls right now?
Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh yeah.
I'm obsessed with Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh my God.
She's so cool. She also retweeted something that I tweeted the other day.
Look at you.
I did a post of me and Hailee as Emily and Sue kissing, saying Silk Chiffon, which is this song that Muna did with Phoebe Bridgers, and she retweeted it, and it was like one of the highlights of my life.
Hats off to you. Oh man. I mean, I think of myself as a sad girl sometimes, just deep inside. So
Yeah, you.
is it self-love to be like, I'm my favorite sad girl?
It's borderline.
It's borderline.
But no, you can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Permission is granted.
I'm my favorite sad girl too, so totally feel you.
Thank you.
Yay.
I feel seen.
In 3 words, why should people who haven't seen this series prior to this watch the show?
To process our differences.
That's a good question. Process our differences. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, I just combined those three. I'm just
Absolutely.
you know.
To remain curious.
Yeah, see, I knew he was gonna do better than me. Dang it.
No, not at
No,
all.
that was good because that was more optimistic.
No, I think
Whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. First question is, when it came to the final season, did you always have an idea of where you wanted this to end up, or was it something that kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, I always from the beginning knew that this would be a 3-season show exploring the coming of age story of Emily Dickinson and almost like telling her origin story in a whole new way. And I knew that that would culminate in a 3rd season that would take place in the Civil War because intriguingly and fascinatingly, the 4 years of the Civil War are Emily's 4 most prolific years as an artist. It seems as if the conflict and violence that was tearing the nation apart was somehow getting inside her and in her mind and bringing out more and more of her creativity and her own ability to express some of the most complicated experiences of the human condition. And so I also knew that, in season 3, Emily would write a letter to a man named Thomas Wentworth Higginson, who is a radical abolitionist who's currently stationed in Beaufort, South Carolina, where he's organizing a federally unauthorized regiment of Black soldiers that he hopes one day will be able to be armed and fight for the cause of the Union and the cause of their own liberation. So all of those pieces were there. But of course, what we didn't know is that we would be writing and producing this entire season in a global pandemic. And I think that that added just many layers to the meaning of it for all of us and sort of suffused the whole thing with an immediacy that was definitely even beyond my expectations.
Definitely, and I am in love with the way that you portrayed Emily's story. I'm wondering how you approach her sexuality and the political context to tell a modern story.
Well, Emily Dickinson was queer. Her most central, intimate relationship was with Susan Gilbert, who was her childhood friend and later became her sister-in-law and next-door neighbor, and they lived in 2 adjoining houses for their entire lives. While Sue became a wife and mother, and Emily remained single, childless, and pursuing the life of an artist to the extent that she could in her own room. So to me, this is a great love story. It's a very complicated story also of a friendship between 2 women who are taking very different life paths. It has all the ingredients of the a family dramedy because there's sort of nothing more awkward than being in love with your brother's wife. Yeah, I guess it was definitely Emily and Sue's relationship that in part inspired this entire project and made me want to tell the story of Emily Dickinson.